Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're got a little project going on for this winter. We're going to try a little bit something different with the Land Rover. The Series 2A that I have, that's a diesel. So I'm going to point down here. This is what we're going to be doing right here. I'm going to flip the camera around and we'll take a closer look at it. But I'm going to do an engine swap on the Land Rover Series. So we're going to do what a lot of people call the Scotty Adapter swap for an engine. So I'll turn the camera around and we'll take a closer look. Okay, so this is the engine. It's a 4-cylinder petrol or gasoline engine, and it's called a Merc Cruiser engine. You can see it down there. Merc Cruiser as in a boat. So this is a boat engine that would be normally put in a boat and turn inside of a boat and pushes it along. So you can see here it's 120 horsepower, 2.5 liter full cast iron boat engine. So it's based off of the GM, what they call, I'm going to put it in quotes because some people say some things are Iron Dukes and some things are not. If it's a Pontiac, it's an Iron Duke. If it isn't, it isn't, or whatever. So anyways, this is based on the same engine as the Iron Duke or the Chevy 153 or Chevy 151 engine. And so it's based off of that, but it's used in a boat instead. And they have a little beefier, I heard it's beefier crank in it and all this kind of stuff, but I don't know nothing about that. So all I know is I got the engine for a good deal off of a guy that was going to put it into a hot rod. So the engine itself is pretty much complete just how it is, but if you know with how a boat engine is, it's cooled with a big manifold on this side and everything. It's a whole completely different manifold. So the guy gave me this manifold with the engine for a carburetor, and then the exhaust will come down this way. So in order to, we're going to tear into this engine. We're going to take it down, probably do piston rings on it, and amongst other things that I'm going to go over here in a second. So let's look at the rest of the pieces and parts. So we have the engine here. So what do we have to do to get this into the truck, to get this into the Land Rover? Let me set up the camera and we'll take a look-see at the parts that I got so far. So these are some of the pieces and parts I've been collecting for the past year or so. And to make this plan on putting the Merc Cruiser engine into the Series truck. So first thing, this is called a Scotty Adapter. What it does, it has the Land Rover transmission pattern on this side. Then you flip it over. It has the Chevy V8 pattern on this side that goes around. You can see here. So this will be go bolt onto the engine side, then this will be onto the transmission side on here. So this is an original Scotty Adapter, old school one from the 90s. The guy made him a long time ago and everything. So I happened to find this one on Facebook Marketplace, or not Marketplace, but in one of them Land Rover groups on Facebook. So this kind of started the whole thing. So I got this, and he also gave me the, if you can see that, it's a Chevy flywheel, and the part number is 3967058. But he said that it was already, put that down, he said it was already machined to be the correct thickness, because you have to make it a special thickness so your clutch plate's in the right position and your flywheel's in the proper position. But and he also said that this is drilled for a Land Rover clutch, but we're going to have to take measurements, and we'll see with the clutch when we take it out of the Series truck and see how it bolts up to this, and we'll get some measurements and all the pieces and parts or whatever. So we'll also measure the distance of this face to the face of this, so we're at the same distance with our clutch and everything. So we're going to have to learn about that a little bit later as we're doing the swap. So this is, you'll need a pilot bushing as well for your clutch. This is a Chevy. You can see there, it's a pilot bushing 690035. It fit on a 57 through 61 Chevy V8. So this part's the proper diameter and thickness to fit inside the engine. Well, again, we'll take a closer look at this. But this I'm going to have to measure and see about making this hole bigger, I think, for the transmission pilot. With the input shaft, it has to go into here. So I'm going to have to measure this, and I'll have to ream that out to a certain size. But again, we'll figure that out as we go. So a lot of these things we're going to figure out as we go. So you're going to have to watch the series and see how it all works. So another thing we have to do is replace the cam inside the truck. It's inside the Merc Cruiser, because the Merc Cruiser, can you see that? Okay. The Merc Cruiser cam in the 4-cylinder is made to be run wide open, and it's not good for the street. So from what I heard on the internet when people put these in hot rods. So what I did is I got a cam. I don't know if you can see the part number, but it's 14-119-5. And according to there you go, you can see that there. According to the website of Comp Can, said it's a good idle cam, and it'll give you a little bit of good low-end power out of your Chevy 153. So this should fit inside our engine, but when we tear it down, we'll take a look at that as well. And then if you get yourself a new cam, you got to have new cam lifters. So here's the part number for that. It's 864-8. They're hydraulic lifters, and they're brand new too. So these will be broken in with the cam at the same time when we do the startup. We'll break that in. So those are the pretty much major components that we're going to be using on the engine. So as we're going along with the series, we're going to see how everything fits. I'm not sure how it all works, but we're going to see how it works, and we're going to do this all together. I'm going to show you all the ways that I'm going to do it and put it into the truck. And I don't have engine mounts, so I'm going to have to make mounts along when we put the engine in and we get it level with everything, and we'll test that out as well. So okay, these are the pieces and parts, like I said, that we're going to be using for the engine swap. And then these things, I thought this was pretty neat. The guy put it in a hot rod before, and he made engine mounts. They were on the side out of connecting rods. He had it inside the engine, and he gave me these with it. But they were bolted right here for engine mounts to hang the engine into a hot rod. I thought that was pretty neat. There's that. He also gave me a flex plate for an automatic car. I had a coil, pulley for the water pump. So this is just kind of the highlight of the whole thing of the engine swap that we're going to be doing. So in the next videos, I'm going to start tearing this down. We're going to see what it looks like on the inside. I'm hoping it's not too bad on the inside. I took the spark plugs out, and they didn't look too bad. So if they were using this engine before, it must have been burning pretty good. No crazy oil or anything like that on those. So that's good. So let me hear your comments down below. Let me hear what your opinions are on this. And the main thing about this is there's not going to be no modifications to the truck. So when we take the old engine out and we put this engine in, there will be no cutting of engine brackets. I don't plan on doing any modification to the truck itself to get this engine in there. So it can always be reversed, and it can always go back to a diesel or whatever in the future I end up doing with the truck. Who knows what I'm going to do with it. But for now, I'm going to put this in. We're going to give this a try. I think it'll be a fun project to do just to see if we can do it. And Thank you very much. And if you have any questions on the pieces and parts that I'm going to be using to put this in, let me know. And thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay awesome, because you are awesome. Bye-bye.